Everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kayla and welcome to the video. For today, I had an idea. I've seen a couple of people do this on YouTube, but I thought it was kind of clever. I'm gonna go back into my stash behind me and I'm gonna shop my collection. I feel like this is something you need to do every so often to kind of remember all of the things that you've accumulated over the last 6 months or so. I feel like there's been so many new launches that it's hard to keep up sometimes. So I want to just kind of take a step back and kind of reflect over the last maybe 6 months of all the things that I've gotten, and I want to put together a look using those items. So I'm not really sure where I'm gonna go with this, but I do have an idea of the products I'm going to use. So if you're interested to see what I come up with, then just keep on watching. Here we are again, up close and personal. We are going to start with the eyes. Today I found 2 palettes that I almost forgot about. Today I have the Natasha Denona. This is the Biba palette, the neutral one, and then I also have ColourPop's Sweet Talk pressed powder palette. So between these two, I'm going to try to come up with sort of a neutral smoky eye as usual. I have like this idea of a smoky like liner. To start, I've already primed my lids. I used my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer to do that. I also filled in my brows off camera, so we're just gonna completely skip that whole step just to save us some time. And now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna use the shade Freckle from the Natasha Denona palette, and I wanna use this to define my crease. So I'm just gonna take a fluffy Morphe brush. This is the Morphe M441, and I'm gonna go ahead and just start defining my crease. I am gonna do a little bit of a cut crease later on. So I'm really just focusing this on the parts of my eye that is sort of right above where my natural crease is, and I'm trying to make this into a nice gradient here. And I want this to have a nice feathered out look, so I'm gonna go over it with a clean brush just to make sure it's nice and diffused. I'm gonna start to deepen up that outer corner. So I'm just gonna take a slightly smaller fluffy brush. This is a Morphe M514. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna dip into the cocoa shade. And I'm really just focusing that into the very corner of my eye. I'm gonna bring it all the way across into the inner part of my eye, because where I'm gonna cut the crease, I do want to see this a little bit. And I'm gonna go back and take a little bit more of that freckle color and just soften that. So I have this nice smoky shape. And if you want to make this a little bit more dramatic, you can sort of really blend this out past the end of your eyebrow to give it a drama effect. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut my crease now. Usually I use a lot of shimmer in my eye looks, but today I'm going to go for something more matte. So it's going to be a little bit of a change for me. I'm taking more of my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I'm going to be using a Luxie 245 brush. I'm going to go ahead and cut the crease. When I do a cut crease, I always start with very little product just in case I make a mistake, and then I go ahead and add more to make it more precise. I'm gonna bring this about a little more than halfway across my lid, and because of the nature of the smoky eye being matte, I suggest that you try to use the lightest shade of concealer that you have, because you really want this to be a nice contrasting shade. Always remember to open your eye all the way to make sure that you've cut it high enough. To save myself some trouble later too, I also try to go ahead and diffuse the end of it, so that way there's just not a harsh line once you're done. Now while that's still wet, I want to take another flat brush, preferably one that doesn't have concealer on it. I'm going to try to find the brightest bone shade of eyeshadow that I have. So I'm actually going to go ahead and take one of my little Smashbox covershot palettes. There's a really light matte color in there that's going to be perfect for this. It's just about the same color as the concealer. So I'm just going to go ahead and, while like I said that's still wet, I'm just going to pack that on my lid. And once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and take that small blending brush we were using before, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to darken up the crease now that I have the concealer all done and set. I'm gonna use a little bit of the shade Feel Free, and this is from that ColourPop You're Pretty palette. So it's kind of like a dark maroon. I'm just gonna pack that in the outer V of my eye. I'm kind of going at an angle because I want to give it a really like nice winged shape, because we are gonna do like a smoky black eyeliner underneath this. I'm sort of bringing this over the center of my lid because I'm gonna try to make like a nice eyeliner shape. The reason why we did the eyes first is because this might get a little messy, so don't feel bad if you get it all over your face. We're gonna wipe it away later. I'm gonna go in with a even smaller blending brush because I really do need to get really close to the lash line here. I'm gonna go in with a Morphe 506 brush, that same shade, deepen up that corner. I feel like I need to add some dark brown into this, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the Natasha Denona palette again on that same brush, and I'm gonna dip into Cocoa and Pasha. And anytime I feel like I'm getting a little out of hand, I just go in with that freckle color. We're gonna go ahead and add the black eyeliner now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take a smudger brush. This is gonna be a Morphe M408. And I'm gonna dip into the black shadow that's in the Natasha Denona palette. And this is called Spot. And I'm just gonna push this against my upper lash line. I'm using stamping motions as I do this because it'll help me create a nice precise line. And then for the wing, it's gonna look really messy and I just need you to bear with me. I'm gonna go ahead and make the wing shape and I'm gonna clean it up after. Kind of is a cheat way to make a wing liner without being super precise. I'm gonna take an angled brush and clean up that line. I promise this looks crazy, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna wipe this away with a makeup wipe and then you'll see. And that is called cheating right there. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up some of these harsh edges. I'm just taking that brush I was using with the shade Freckle on it. I didn't add any more pigment to it. And if you feel like you kind of messed up your cut crease, anything like that, feel free to go ahead, make any changes. Now that I'm satisfied with that, I'm gonna go ahead and take some black liquid liner. I'm gonna go ahead and make a small wing over the black shadow. I'm gonna go ahead and add some false lashes. I'm gonna be using the Lilly lashes in the style Miami. I'm just gonna curl my lashes. These are not David approved lashes, if anyone was curious. And I'm just gonna add some mascara. These are definitely not his favorite. I wore these when we were in Amsterdam and I remember he just kept looking at me and he was like, you look like you have forks on the ends of your eyes. But I'm gonna have my day here, okay? I'm gonna zoom you out. I'm gonna go ahead and do my other eye off camera and then I'm gonna come back. We're gonna do my face. We're gonna talk about how dramatic this is and how much David hates it. I didn't think today was gonna be the day that I went this dramatic, but that's what happens, I guess, when you go back and look at actually how much makeup you have, because I didn't really mean for this to happen, but here we are. We're gonna make it work. So I'm gonna do face and I'm actually gonna film myself doing my face today. Usually I jump cut and, you know, run with it and don't even show you guys my process at all. But because of the nature of this video, me going back into my collection and pulling some things that I haven't played with in a while, I need to film this and sit down and talk about some of these products. So first things first is primer. I'm gonna go ahead and prime my whole face and I'm gonna use the Tatcha Silk Canvas. I actually have not even used this in such a long time. Almost forgot that I had it, to be honest. So I'm just gonna take a little bit on my fingers, warm it up, and just put it right on the face. I love this primer because it's very pore filling, hydrating, and plumping. I guess plumping would be the word. Adds a nice base for your makeup. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that with a powder. I have very oily skin. This is maybe just a me thing, but I find that when I take a powder and set my primer with it, it helps my makeup last longer throughout the day. It allows the oils that I know are trying to come through kind of stop a little bit. It just helps with longevity. If you have dry skin, I would say skip this step. This is definitely not for you. But I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my Maybelline Fit Me powder. This is in the shade 10, and I'm just gonna use a flat topped powder brush. And once I'm satisfied with that, I'm gonna go ahead and put it away. And I'm gonna take my beauty blender and my new Pat McGrath Labs foundation. So this is where it comes in with that whole using old products and new products. I'm just gonna pump a couple of drops on the back of my hand, take my finger and dot. And then I'm just gonna take my beauty blender and blend all of that in. Now because I do need a lot of coverage, I'm definitely gonna go in with a whole nother layer. I'm definitely in need of some concealer, so I'm gonna go ahead and mix my Tarte Shape Tape concealers to make a custom shade. I'm using Fair Neutral and Light Neutral. Putting it on the back of my hand. You can use like a mixing palette if you have one. And I'm gonna go over where I have problem areas, which is pretty much my entire face. So really quick before this, creases under my eyes, I'm gonna take my damp beauty blender and my Pro Filt'r setting powder by Fenty, and I'm gonna go ahead and set my face. What I love about this powder is it sort of like melts into the skin and sort of like dries down almost as your makeup is setting, and it locks it in, covers up some pores, makes it look really, really nice and smooth. So I've been really loving this powder lately. This is definitely not an item that I forgot about. It's actually an item I use just about every day. And now that I'm done with this, I'm gonna go ahead and dust it away. Now that I look like a flat chalkboard, I'm gonna go ahead and contour. I got this new contour little compact. This is from Kevyn. This is the Neo Bronzer. It's in the shade Dusk Medium. I want to lift the cheekbones. Pulls a little red on me, so I'm actually gonna grab one of my old favorites. This is a blush kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills. There's one shade in here that I clearly love, and it's the shade Dusk. And I'm gonna go ahead and add some more neutral tones to my face. I'm just going around the sides of my nose, down on my jaw, gonna do a little on the forehead, and to go over that, to make sure there's no harsh edges or anything weirdly blended, I'm just gonna take the clean brush that I was using to dust my powder away, and I'm gonna go over all those areas. Gonna add a little bit of blush to warm up the face. This is going to be the Tarte Amazonian Clay in the shade Seduce. I'm gonna use my Makeup Obsession Mega Honey Highlighter. This is a new product that I just got. I'm absolutely loving it. I actually got it when I was in Dublin a couple of weeks ago, but it really is a very pretty gold highlighter. I am gonna do a little inner corner highlight, a little under the brow bone. I just need to do lipstick now. I'm gonna go for a pinky nude today since I did use a little burgundy in the eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and use this nude lip liner. This is by Huda Beauty. This is in the shade Spice Girl. And then for liquid lip today, I'm gonna be using my NARS Power Matte Pigment in the shade American Woman. This is one of my favorite liquid lipsticks and liquid lipstick formulas. If you don't have a NARS liquid lipstick, you should go get one. I'm really liking that lip combo with the eyes. I really think it ties it all together. I need to clean up my lips a little bit. I'm gonna smoke out my lower lash line, add some mascara. I'll be right back for final thoughts, last looks. I smoked out my lower lash line. I'm good with the lip. Gonna add some setting spray. This is actually a new product that I got a couple weeks ago. This is the Lancôme Fix It and Forget It spray. This is the final look. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching with me. I hope that there was some sort of taking point from this tutorial. If you haven't already, leave me a comment down below and give this video a big thumbs up. I'm starting to post a little more regularly on this channel. I'm hoping to do about one video per week. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe, show your support. Follow me on all my other social medias. They are all linked in the description below, along with the rest of the products that I talked about in this video. And I will see you on my next video. Thanks again for watching. Bye!